clicked on this video, I can assume something about you. You want to stop playing video games. Now, I'm not here to judge you as to why you want to stop, but if you're anything like me, you want to stop because video games are having a negative impact on your life. Maybe that's because they are affecting your relationships or causing you to procrastinate on work or school. Maybe they are affecting your sleep and ability to exercise. Or maybe you're just tired of AAA games whoring out for microtransactions. Whatever the reason, I want to encourage you that when you stop gaming, life is going to get so much better. How do I know this? Because I used to be a hardcore gamer playing 16 hours a day. My gaming even got to the point where I was sneaking in through my bedroom window, pretending to have a job at a restaurant. Things were really bad in my life, so I decided to stop gaming over 10 years ago. And since then, my life has continued to get better and better. Today, I have my own business making a social impact. I've traveled to over 30 countries, most of them by myself. I've given 2 TEDx talks with over 2 million views. I found new passions in surfing and DJing. I have a great girlfriend of almost 5 years and a supportive group of friends. And most of all, I'm genuinely happy and fulfilled in my life. Now, of course, life hasn't always been easy, and I even relapsed with gaming one time, but I can sit here now and honestly say that my life has been transformed, and I'm really proud of who I have become. Like me, turning your life around begins by quitting gaming. Now, the easiest way to stop gaming is to make a firm decision. You have to stop debating about whether or not you should quit, whether you should play in moderation, or just on the weekends, or just play single player games. And instead, make the decision black or white. It has to be a yes or a no. You have to make a clear decision on this. The key really is the clarity. You can't limit your time. You can't use it as a reward. You can't just play it on the weekends. You have to make the decision to quit for good. Now, this is something I found out in September 2009 when I had my relapse. At the time, I had quit gaming for about 2 years, but was starting to feel depressed again. I just moved to Victoria, BC, which is on Vancouver Island in Canada, and I moved out there to get away from Calgary and to experience something new. It was also a challenge to myself to see if I could move to another city and make new friends. Well, at least that's what I told myself at the time. But looking back, the main reason I moved was to escape from the life I was living. When I moved to Victoria, I moved in with 2 new roommates. And a day or 2 in, I was having a conversation with one of them. His name was Ben. He was a professional poker player. And we were talking about how we used to play the same game, which was StarCraft. Now, I told him that I was very good. And so he joked about buying the game so we could play. I told him at the time, don't do that. I don't want to play. I don't play games anymore, and my life is going a lot better. But later that night, he came home, put the game in front of me and said, come on, man, just one game. He thought this was funny, and I was laughing on the outside, but inside I was pissed. I knew this was going to end really poorly. And he said, come on, man, just one game. So I gave in and we played a few games, and honestly, he absolutely crushed me. So my ego took a hit. And I woke up the next day determined to beat him the next time we played. And for the next 5 months, instead of working on my business, exercising, or going out to meet new people, I was stuck inside playing StarCraft 16 hours a day. It even got to the point where Ben stopped playing poker and he started practicing more too. Now, looking back, in the moment when he invited me to play, I needed to remain clear that I wasn't playing, not even just one game. Being firm is also the same lesson I learned when I quit smoking marijuana. There was a time where I'd stopped for about 2 months and things were going well in my life. I had more mental clarity, my energy was better, and most of all, the cravings had mostly gone away. Then one day I was hanging out at the beach on the weekend, which maybe I can control it this time. I even told my friend it would just be a weekend thing, and when work started back on Monday, I would be sober again. Of course, he laughed and said, yeah, right. And of course, we all know how the story goes. It was almost exactly a year later, and I was still smoking weed. Not only on the weekends, but all day, every day. I wanted to stop, but I was struggling to do it. And this struggle went on and on and on every day for the whole year until I finally said enough is enough and decided that was the end. And I wasn't going back. Now for me, today, I don't smoke weed, not even on the weekends or at the beach or just here and there. It's something I don't do. It's done. It's black and white. The answer is no. And my cravings are basically non-existent because I'm clear on this. I'm not going back. Never. Now, I live in Thailand where every second shop on this island is a weed shop, but I have zero temptation, even when I smell it. Zero temptation. I often just say, nice smell, but I'm never going back to smoke it. Never. I'm done. Now, being black and white is also the same lesson I learned when I quit drinking alcohol. Now, for this one, unlike gaming and marijuana, alcohol didn't bring immense pain to my life. I can definitely say I struggled with an addiction to gaming and weed, but alcohol was something I rarely ever did. Mostly because I would just always get sick, not hungover or something like that, but a few days after drinking, I would often get a cold. It's like it had killed my immune system. I think maybe I'm allergic or something. I'm not exactly sure. But every once in a while, I would drink, like special occasions, a friend's wedding, a concert, or sometimes at Christmas. But then 3 years ago, I just decided I wasn't going to drink anymore. I just didn't care for it. I don't like getting sick a few days later, and I don't even really enjoy the feeling or the experience. So instead of drinking casually here and there, I just would not drink anymore. It's been something like over 3 years now, and I don't miss it even one bit. I just don't drink. When people ask me, I just say I don't drink. So whether it's gaming or another habit or addiction like marijuana or alcohol, or just something else in your life you want to stop, the easiest way to stop is to be clear about where you stand. Make it black or white, yes or no. The reason it's so important is because along the way, you will have temptation. A new game will be released, a friend will invite you to play, you might even have a random craving here and there. Maybe even your life will start to get so good that your brain will start to tell you, since you were doing so well, maybe gaming wasn't the problem after all. Even though if you look back, your life has improved immensely when you stopped gaming, and gaming was the thing getting in the way in the first place. When you have these temptations, you aren't always going to be in a place where you can make a logical decision, especially if you are in a triggered or emotional state. So instead, take the logic out of it and predetermine the decision. It's already been decided beforehand. You're no longer going back to games. You no longer play. It doesn't matter if you have intense cravings, if people invite you to play and you feel FOMO, or your new favorite game is coming out. You're not playing, and that's a firm decision. Right after I quit gaming, StarCraft 2 came out, and I had been waiting for that game for 10 years, but I never played. It was time to move on. Now, being clear will be the easiest way to stop gaming. It will solve almost every issue, craving, or temptation to play, but that's all it's going to do. It's going to stop you from playing games. But now that you've stopped, you will need to build a life you were proud of. One that you can look back on a few weeks, months, or even years down the road and think, you know what? I love my life now. I am so proud of who I have become. So in order to do that, follow the 3 steps I outlined in this video.